Hi, I'm Challenge with Geoprobe Service. Today we are going to show you how to install a drop hammer chain link assembly. What you're going to need for this job is two 3/4 inch wrenches, two 1 1/8 inch wrench, and one 9/16 socket, one flathead screwdriver, a small punch, one pry bar, and one sledgehammer. First thing we're going to want to do is take off the top and bottom bolts of our guard on our chain link assembly and find out where our lifting dogs are. In order to get the guard off, we will use the two 3/4 inch wrenches to loosen the 3 bolts on the housing itself, which will release the pressure off of this guard. Once those 3 bolts are loose, you can remove your guard. Now that we're able to see into our drop hammer chain, my lifting dogs are at the very bottom. And in order to get that rotated, I'm going to want them to be center mass with this assembly. So in order to do that, I'm going to utilize a rod and a pad to lift the anvil up to where I can relieve the pressure to where I can rotate that dog around freely. Once my drop hammer weight is in the window to where I know the dogs aren't going to hit it, I can then actuate my drop hammer motor and rotate the chain around. Once I have my lifting dogs in the center of my chain link assembly, I'll then go ahead and lift my hammer back up to where it's more accessible at working height. Once I got everything positioned to where it's comfortable for me, I'll go ahead and loosen up the tensioning bolts on both sides, loosening the jam nuts, pulling that up, and then loosening the through bolt for that bottom sprocket. Once my tension bolts are loosened and pulled up flush, I'll go ahead and then loosen and remove the through sprocket bolt. The reason why you want to use a smaller punch to drive out your bottom sprocket bolt is going to allow you enough clearance to loosen that bottom sprocket to get your chain loose enough to pull out and to remove those master links. I'll then tap on the bottom of the bottom sprocket and loosen it out. Once loose, I can pull out the chain assembly, use my pry bar to hold it out for me, and then remove the 2 master links. As you're removing these master link pins, remember that they'll always face up against the flash face of the dog here. Your master link will be in 3 pieces. And then grab the center two links as I pull out my punch. And those will come out that way. And then I can drive out the bottom master link. Now with my chain being loose, I can go ahead and remove it. It is easier to drop it as you're taking it off from the top down. And there is the removal of your drop hammer main chain. Now to install the new chain, we'll go in from the same way as we came out from the top. You're going to want to realign your chain to about the same height where you took it off. Then you can go ahead and reassemble your bottom sprocket assembly. Once you get to that point, you're ready to go ahead and reinstall your master links and your drop hammer lifting dogs. It is important to remember as you're installing these, you're wanting the flat face of your hammer lifting dogs to be facing down. Once you got your top master link installed, you can go ahead and put the keeper in, remembering to face the open part of the keeper up. Once you get your bottom master link in, same thing, you want the opening of the key facing up. Now once you got your chain reassembled, you can go ahead and put your bottom sprocket through bolt in to get ready to start tensioning it. It's important to notice as you get ready to tighten your tension bolts here that the flat part of these two black washers will need to be facing up. The tension that I'm wanting on this chain is about a 3/4 inch movement. I'll do even turns on both sides. Until I get to my desired tightness. Now that my tension is set correctly, I'll go ahead and tighten my jam nuts and reassemble my guard. Now that my guard is in place and is seated flush inside the drop hammer chain frame itself, I'll go ahead and tighten my 3/4 inch bolts. Now that my guard is back on, and my chain is to its right tightness, I can go ahead and fire up my machine and remove the rod that is holding up the drop hammer anvil itself. With the replacement of my drop hammer chain, I'm now able to go outside and test the drop hammer. For more information, go to geoprobe.com or call 785-825-1842.